He got into my phone and saw all my messages live W/my affair while I was at work. When I came home. Who would have thought that a small mistake of sexting would leave me broken on the road? Hello, Reddit buddies. After the chaos created in my life, I never thought that I would be here sharing this, but after the judgmental looks given by my friends and family, I've decided that it's best if I share it online to people unknown to me instead of people I know. That way I can trust you all to be unbiased. Let me give a rundown of the mess that is my life. I, female, 29, and have been dating this guy, my boyfriend or ex-boyfriend now. Male, 32 for 1.5 years now. I'm not going to disclose our names because I don't want any internet controversy after what happened. My ex-boyfriend is the owner of a very fancy art gallery, and I'm a model. Not the Victoria's Secret kind of model, I just work with small brands, but get enough bucks to have a decent livelihood. My boyfriend, on the other hand, comes from an old money family. As a matter of fact, it was his art gallery where we met. A friend took me there as some photographer was having an exhibition there. I didn't know that this dude was the owner of the art gallery, but we started talking when he spotted me on the bar with my gin and tonic. By the time I left that exhibition, he had already taken my number and texted me that night asking if I wanted to go out with him that weekend. I discussed this with my friends, and they said, yeah, there's no harm in going on a date with him. So then we went on our first date, and after 5 dates, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I was so on cloud 9 that time that I didn't notice any of his red flags. I was just smitten by an attractive guy who dressed well and came from money. I thought that I had scored a complete 10 out of 10, but I couldn't be more wrong about it. After 6-7 months of dating, I started noticing some red flags in him. How he would keep asking me where I'm if I'm out, keeping a track if I was in a bar or somewhere else. He started making me feel so caged. I liked living my life on my own terms. I was aware that he was my boyfriend, but I didn't understand his need of tracking where I'm, with whom and all. Also, we were already living together at this time. He had asked me to move in with him after 4 or 5 months of dating. I didn't mind because the lease of my apartment was coming to an end as well, and I was happy saving the rent money. I thought it was a wise decision because moving in with him was helping me save so much money. I didn't even have to buy my own groceries or anything. He had a private chef coming in to cook for us, so I thought I was being smart. But after some time, I realized that by moving in with him, I got trapped. When I used to stay in my own place alone, I used to live according to my own will. I used to go to clubs and bars and party till the morning. That was the lifestyle I wanted in my 20s. If he called, I lied to him and told him that I was in my bed sleeping. All my friends understood that my boyfriend was really strict about my parties, so as soon as he called, I would hold a finger to my lips and they all would go complete quiet. They also got the music down, so I was able to lie to him and live that lifestyle while being in a relationship. But now I could not do any of that. I could not go to clubs and party till 4 in the morning because my dear boyfriend did not like me getting drunk with random men and whatever. I realized that even though he pretended to be very understanding about my career and all, he was actually quite controlling. He did not even try to understand that as a model, it was required of me to go to all these parties and network with people in the industry. He actually threw quite a tantrum when he saw a video of me partying with other men. He got really mad and told me that if that was how I wanted to spend my life, then he doesn't see getting much further in this relationship. When he said that, I weighed my options. I'm not gonna lie, there were quite many perks as being the girlfriend of such a hotshot man. I had better contacts, better social standing, and a better life in general. I decided that I was not going to let it all go because of his little tantrum, and then I told him that I was really sorry and it would not happen again. It took some time to please him and make him happy, but ladies, trust me on this, a few tricks in the bedroom are always helpful. So yeah, that was what my relationship had turned into, my living with my boyfriend's red flag, because the other option of breaking up with him was not that great. I thought we could work like this. My plan was to get successful using his contacts and then break up with him. Before some of you come at me, remember I was only using his social contacts, not anything else. Better not label me as a gold digger or anything else, guys. But my plan of living my rich girl lifestyle fell flat when I met Dave. I'm not an idiot to use his real name, so don't look it up. Dave is a very successful photographer based in NY. We met when my agency contacted me and told me that Dave's team is looking for a model to shoot with him. They had seen my portfolio, and Dave wanted to meet me in person. I was really excited because it was a big opportunity for me. This gig with Dave could make me popular super soon. I got the address and went there. I wore a very pretty mini dress that day. I wore it after my boyfriend left for his gallery because he didn't like me wearing very short dresses either. He really was a big red flag. But anyways, when I went to his office and met Dave, I was surprised to see how attractive he was. He was a photographer but looked like a model. I also noticed the way he checked me out, and oh my god, I felt so good to get that look of appreciation for him. He told me about the shoot and what the campaign was about. By the end of the meeting, Dave mentioned something to me. He told me that it would be great if we could do a look test sort of thing. He wanted to make sure if I would suit the aesthetics of their campaign or not. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Dave told me that it would be very brief and we would do it in a hotel room instead. I told him that it was cool and I would be there. I got back home very happy about getting such a big opportunity, but when I saw my boyfriend, my mood dampened. He asked me what was making me so happy and I was like, nothing, just being with him, and fed him some more lies like that. By now, you guys must have understood that my boyfriend was an A-grade control freak, so I did not want to increase his controlling nature by telling him about Dave. Everything went the same way. Dave's secretary texted me the details. The look test was in 2 days. The day of the look test, I woke up feeling happy, but really got bummed when I saw that I had gotten an acne overnight. I'm not getting dramatic. It's quite a big deal for a model to get acne on the day of the look test. Things got from bad to worse when I got into a fight with my boyfriend. His parents had called us for dinner that weekend, but my friends were having a party, and I told him that I could not go, but he was free to go alone if he wanted to. He got mad at that, and told me that his parents were important to him, and since I was his girlfriend, I should give them importance too. I wanted to tell him that his expectations of me were getting more toxic day by day, but I kept quiet and then went for the look test. I went into the hotel room expecting tons of lights, camera, and all that, but it was surprisingly very cozy. There were only 2 to 3 people. Someone gave me the outfit I was supposed to change into. It was just a tube top and very tiny shorts. I got ready and came out. Dave had also arrived by then. He gave me a pep talk that I should not get nervous about, and it was going to be really easy. I felt better after talking to him. He asked me if I wanted the team to be present or not. For some odd reason, I actually just wanted him to be present there. I told him the same, and he nodded. Within 5 minutes, the room was cleared, and it was just me and him. He took my shots, which were mostly close angles. Sometimes he had to tell me to get in a different position, so there was lots of touching in my thighs and shoulders. I had never thought that a photo shoot could get this intense and close. There was a sexual tension created between us, and I could swear on my life that he felt it too. And that's how, by the end of it, we were making out on the same bed. I won't go into the details of that. You guys are old enough to know what happened. I had not meant to cheat on my boyfriend. I was not that type of person, but there was something about Dave which had me bending my morals in a minute. I know it makes me a bad person, but I had never done something like that, and Dave was so charming. I was in such a bad mood since the morning, but being around him instantly made everything better. Also, we don't go all the way. We just made out. And at that time, I got a text from my boyfriend, which instantly made me regret what I was doing. I left the hotel and got back to our place. My boyfriend was already waiting for me, and he had even prepared a meal for me. He said that he felt bad about our fight in the morning and wanted to make up. Seeing his smile gave me another guilt trip, and I swore to never cheat on him again. Our makeup didn't last very long. We had a fight again after 2 or 3 days over something really stupid. I guess it was an ad shoot for lingerie or something, and he told me that he did not like the idea of me doing something like that. He told me that his whole family would see that it was not something he felt comfortable with. I told him that it was not him doing the ad shoot. It was me, so there was no question about whether he was comfortable or not. I told him clearly that my career was not a point of discussion in our relationship. It was my career, and I was going to make all my decisions. I was really mad at him this time. Criticizing my clothes was something I could let go, but interfering in my career was not tolerable. As destiny would have it, that night I got a DM from Dave. It was a picture of me from the look test. He told me how he could not stop thinking about me and about what happened in the hotel room. My conscience told me that flirting with him was wrong when I had a boyfriend. But with each passing minute, Dave's texts started getting more intense. I could not ignore it anymore after half an hour. I told myself that I was making out with him. It was just a few texts, and there was nothing wrong with it. My boyfriend was not at home that day. He had some meetings which ran late or something. I took the opportunity and started talking to Dave. His texts started getting more flirty as the time passed. After an hour or so, he sent me a picture of him. It was him shirtless, and oh my god. I had to stop myself from drooling. I took some sexy pictures myself and sent it to him. The night only progressed from there. There was lots of dirty talk and lots of naked pictures. I never knew sexting could be so much fun. There was a thrill. Also, maybe the risk of being caught made it even more fun. I don't know, guys, there was something so fun about it. I'm not going to be ashamed of having sexual desires. I'm not one of those women, and at that time I was really fucking thrilled. I enjoyed it too much to end it after one night. This continued even after that night. I used to send him pictures whenever my boyfriend was not around. I hate to admit it, but it was really fun sneaking around that way. This continued for around 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, Dave told me that he could not wait any further and wanted to see me. And I was over my guilt and was ready to explore this connection with him. Coincidentally, that was also the weekend when my boyfriend was going to meet his parents, who lived in their fancy estate outside of the city. I told him that we could meet that weekend. My initial plan was to join my boyfriend, but then I made up some excuse about not being well and that he should not cancel because of me. So as soon as my boyfriend left for his parents' place, I drove to the same hotel to meet Dave. We got into it as soon as I entered the hotel room, and it was really amazing. As good as he told me it would be in those texts. If there was any remaining guilt for betraying my boyfriend, Dave erased that with his kisses and touches. Don't get me wrong, I really loved my boyfriend. I had no romantic feelings about Dave. He was just a sneaky link. That weekend went like my plan. I spent it with Dave and made sure to be home before my boyfriend. I had a photo shoot with a local brand on Tuesday, but my late night shenanigans with Dave kept me up really late. I was texting him till really late at night, so I woke up just half an hour before the shoot. I was in such a rush that I forgot to take my phone and only remembered it when I was in the cab. It was too late for me to go and get it back, so I just said fuck it and went for the shoot. Well, that was the first mistake I made. And I wish I could go back in time and get it back, but what is done is done. Anyways, when I got back home, the biggest shock of my life was waiting for me. My boyfriend was missing from the apartment. All of his stuff was there, but I could sense it, that something was wrong. I didn't even have my phone on me, so my first thought was to find my phone and call him, but I could not find my phone anywhere. I finally saw the post-it note on the refrigerator. It only said that he's out, and to not try to find him. The note was enough for me to understand that he knew. My heart started beating fast, and I was so shocked that he found out, but I could not understand how he found out about me and Dave. After pacing continuously back and forth in the apartment, it hit me. My phone. He had seen my phone in my DM with Dave. I started panicking really bad because I was not ready for this to be over. I wanted him in my life. I couldn't even find my damn phone so I could call him and tell him to come home so we could sort it out. After lots of searching in the apartment, I finally found my phone thrown across the bedroom. It was broken, but thankfully still working. I tried to reach my boyfriend, but he had already blocked me. I was already in the middle of this crisis when another crisis hit me like a rock. There were a dozen missed calls from my agency. When I called them, they told me that all the contracts I had signed had removed me. I was shocked to hear that. I asked them how it is possible. Everything was going great. They told me that there were certain provisions which allowed them to remove me as their model and hire someone else without paying me. Apparently, the agency had a clause in all their contracts that there should not be any sort of relationship between the models and the clients. And I had broken that rule by going with Dave, and somehow they knew it. I told them that it was wrong information, but they were not ready to hear me out. They told quite brutally that they had digital proof that there was an inappropriate relationship between me. That made me shut up. According to the clauses, I was also not in any position to ask them to make any payments for the work I'd done. It didn't take a genius to figure out that it was the doing of my dear boyfriend. He was such an insecure person. He could not handle another man praising me and started taking it out on me. I thought of calling Dave and asked for his help. I was not sure how he could help me, but I had to try at least. His phone came busy every time I tried to call him, and after 20 missed calls, I figured that he had already blocked me. It was already 11 p.m., so I thought to go get some rest and to figure out everything the next day. At least my boyfriend had the decency to not kick me out of the apartment. Technically, he could not because the lease was both in our names, but still. I appreciated the gesture as I went to bed. The next morning, I woke up when the doorbell rang multiple times. When I went to open the door, I found it was the building's manager. He told me that I needed to deposit a check immediately. I thought I was still asleep and heard him wrong. My boyfriend had already taken care of the rent and all that sort of thing. But I wasn't ready for what he told me next. Apparently, my boyfriend had pulled out his name from the lease and also stopped the bank from clearing the check, and since it was my name on the lease, I had to pay for it. I asked him how he could allow him to withdraw his name without my consent. Then he showed me a paper which I had signed when they were putting my name on the lease. It clearly said that both the partners consent if any partner wants to withdraw at any point of time. I was so high in love or whatever at that time that I didn't even bother to check the documents I was signing, and now it had come to bite me in the ass. So now, not only had I lost all my gigs, but also had to pay $60,000. That was my entire life savings, and there was no way I could escape it. I couldn't stop wondering how the entire world turned against me in such a short period of time. It could not be a mere coincidence that my boyfriend had already made me sign a document which allowed him to leave at any point of time. Only one person could give me answers, so after telling the manager that I will make sure the payment is done within a week, I left to find my boyfriend. I already knew I'll find him at his parents' place, so I went there immediately. By this time, I was not surprised when security told me that my name was removed from their approved lists of visitors. I had to beg them literally to let me in. I told them it was really important that I meet him. They made a few calls and finally allowed me to go inside.
Let me know.
My boyfriend was already waiting for me in the living room. When their butler led me there, I was just a bundle of nerves. I started panicking inwardly when I saw the disgust for me in his eyes, even though we both were aware of the truth. I still asked him why he had blocked me. I did not know what else to say. He simply laughed at that and told me he could not believe I could dare to ask him something like that after doing what I did. He told me that he hoped that the sex with Dave was good because I lost everything because of that. The anger in his tone unsettled me so much that I started crying, but that did not affect him even a little bit. He just laughed in an aggressive way and told me that I should make arrangements for the $60,000 or else I was going to get sued. I asked him how he did that. That bastard had the nerve to smirk and told me that I was not his first relationship, and he was used to girls using him for his money, so he was already prepared that if something went wrong, he could walk away without wasting any penny. Even though I already knew the answer, I still asked him if he was involved in my agency suddenly dumping me. He told me that it was just a gift for the time we spent together, and that since I liked it rough, he made sure to make my life rough. I knew that it was the reference to my text to Dave. I only had one last option, so I used that as well. I told him that it was because of him our relationship was already cursed. He did not trust me and had to check my phone. That just showed that this relationship was doomed from the beginning, and not to forget how he found legal loopholes in our lease document, so that I suffer because of it. He did not take it like I thought he would. Instead, he got even more mad and told me that our relationship ended because I was a bitch who liked going everywhere and could not be happy in one relationship. He told me that the first call he made was to Dave's wife and sent her the screenshots of our DM. That explained why he blocked me. I was already humiliated enough, so I left his place and went back to the apartment. It was clear that he was not going to take me back after lots of begging for forgiveness. I finally gave up and went back to my apartment. I told my friends everything that had happened, and even though I expected them to be understanding and help me in this situation, they all told me how money was tight, and I made the biggest mistake by letting my boyfriend go. I already knew that. I didn't need them to tell that to me over and over. Somehow, with the help of my family, who was extremely disappointed in me, I was able to give the building the check. That check was for the last 6 months, so if I still wanted to live there, I had to give another check. I did not understand the system of payment at all, but I knew everyone was just doing like my ex-boyfriend had told them. Money could buy anyone these days. I'm currently back home living with my parents, figuring out what I should do next. My modeling career got over even before it began. My boyfriend made sure of it. I still do not know what I can do with my life. I did not even go to college for fuck's sake, and now everything is over. If anyone has any advice, please let me know in the comments. I'll keep checking and keep you guys updated. Thanks for listening, and see ya.